Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my garage, my man cave, for another day of accountability. How's your accountability doing today? I hope it's doing well. Today's Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, and I want to talk to you today about security being found in the Lord and not followers. To do that, I want to talk to you about Psalm 127, and 127 verse 1 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand and watch in vain." Now, unless God remains at the center of your efforts, you will undoubtedly labor in vain, is what it says. Whether we lead at work, school, or play, we can't fight, build, or plan well enough to gain anything permanent. You see, smart leaders don't only include God in their strategy, they place Him at the center. And only God can provide leaders with security. We can't get it from followers. Why don't we take a look at a list of rules regarding security and people? Number 1, people can't provide permanent security for a leader. People just can't come through like God can. It's one of those things like, no matter what you do, you can always ask for help from someone, but unless you're asking for help from God, that someone will let you down. And it's not in any fault of their own, because they're human. Number 2, leaders should never put their emotional health in the hands of someone else. That's a scary thing to do. Your emotional health needs to be covered by God. You need to take your emotions to Him first and have Him help you sort those out. People will always end up telling you what they think sounds best, but in the end, people are evil to their core, and it'll eventually come out that there's some sort of reason that they're saying that, either retaliation or just to make someone look better than the other. Number 3, spiritual and emotional health require truth. There is no other truth other than that. We can't be emotionally healthy or spiritually healthy unless we know the truth of God's Word, and we're in it every day. If we're not in it every day, we can't be, 1, spiritually healthy, and 2, emotionally healthy, because reading God's Word every day sets the pace for our lives to be where they're supposed to be. Number 4, leaders must remember that hurting people really hurts people. You can say what you want, that words are just words, but being on both sides of the spectrum of the bullying thing, I used to be a bully and I've been bullied. I know how much words can hurt. So that little limerick that says "sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me" is a complete lie. Words can dig deeper, so much deeper than any knife can, and they can stay there and fester for a lifetime. So be careful on what you say and how you talk to people, because that is how that's how people end up having issues with other people. That's how people struggle with things like suicide, depression, and all of these other things that, 1, are spiritual and emotional health that declines, and that allows Satan to have a foothold in your heart. And that all stems from words. Words can get in like that. They can seep in like water, And the last one is that trouble arises when leaders depend on people to do what God can only do. Now, there's nothing more true than that, because God is supernatural, and God can make things happen and make things not happen. But when we depend on people, people are going to let us down for that. I can build a computer. I can build a table, not very well. My tables would be horrible because I lack the knowledge of how to do that very well. So, but only God can come through and make our lives blossom the way that they're supposed to. We can't put our trust in people because people will let us down. So the last thing that I do want to tell you guys is that people aren't bad. Everybody has, everybody was made in in God's image. So people are made after God are supposed to be amazing. And so the thing is that Satan gets in, and being that we're all born into sin, people will eventually all let us down. It's not a fault of their own. It's just people are flawed. It does seem nice to be able to have somebody to help keep you accountable. And I've asked a lot of people over time for accountability. And every one of them has in some way let me down. But not by their fault. It's because I'm searching for something that only God can give. And I'm putting somebody in a predicament that they will never be able to step into. They will never be able to fill those shoes. And it's unfair of me to do that. But it's nice to think that somebody can help take your insecurities and make them a security. Now, the only one that can do that is God. And that's one reason that I began my accountability trek, is because people have let me down, and that it's not fair for me to ask that of them, because that's something that only God can fulfill. Not to say that people are bad, they just can't come through like God can come through. So remember that when you want to ask somebody for something, like, is this something that God is supposed to be handling, or is this something that I should even be asking another human, like knowing that they have the potential and eventually they will let you down because it's just their nature. So don't get discouraged about this. Just know that go to God. There's nothing else in this world that can help you other than God. So I'm totally encouraged by this, and I hope you are too. It sheds a little light on how to take your insecurity and to make it safe and to make it secure in the Lord. So I really enjoyed learning about this today. I didn't know I was going to get this out of it until I wrote it down. It's really nice to write things down. It's nice to have that as something to look back on in the future. And if you know anybody that's struggling with insecurities, anybody who's struggling with depression or any just unnatural, sinful thoughts, share this video with them. Maybe it'll help save their life. If you like what I'm talking about here, just give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, then by all means go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell so that I can get a video to you every day. And so maybe your trek of accountability will be that much easier, not because of me, but because of God working through me. So I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys today, and there will always be an open seat on my couch waiting for you in my man cave if you ever want to come in and hang out. All right, guys, have a great day.